Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your girl, Tori Grace, and I am live today. I'm probably going to do just a short little something. It's heavy on my heart. So, I have been hanging around the besties the last week or so, and it's been absolutely fabulous and amazing. And it has reopened my eyes and bothered me as to why I stopped hanging with my friends. So I was in a relationship in which that particular relationship did not like for me to have gal pals or guy friends for that matter. So it's pretty much you go and you're in a relationship and that's it. You're in the relationship with him, and what he has going on and only what he has going on is the only thing that's okay. So I kind of got into a sunken, dark place, kind of and y'all, if y'all hear random noises and stuff, I'm out walking. Part of my self-love, self-care, newfound me over the last week and a half. But yeah, so my relationship was whatever he does, whatever he says, however he does it or however he says it. And I kind of got lost. All of the stuff that I enjoyed doing, going dancing, crocheting, being outside in my garden, watching the shows that I like to watch when I like to watch it, the foods and things that I like to eat and I enjoyed eating, all of that stuff kind of stopped. I'm an outdoors girl. You can catch me outside in the garden, watering plants, growing something, just sitting outside on the porch just to get some fresh air, or even like today, I'm out walking around my job just so I can be outside. I love outside, which is probably why my little person has the same exact love. But what I realized was that I had lost me in my relationship. And in talking to a lot of my gal pals this past week or so, I'm kind of noticing that we've all done the same thing. Even talking to my guy friends, they've said the same thing. They lost themselves in their relationship. They got with their significant other. Everything that their significant other enjoyed and liked doing, they adapted and adopted to ensure that the other person was happy, thus losing themselves in the midst. And it sucked. So, I haven't seen some of my friends. One of my friends I saw for the first time Saturday night for the first time in 7 years. No lie. It's been that long. My baby just turned 5. Of course, you're pregnant for 10 months. And then I hadn't seen her prior to that because everybody that I was friends with, no matter what, I don't like her, I don't like him, I don't like this, I don't like that. Everything was kind of, you have to be friends with who I want you to be friends with or not at all. And he literally told me one day, totally disgusted me, and it was towards the latter part of our relationship, that anytime you have a group of black women that hang out together or you hang around with each other, they're always bound to cause some shit. And those were his words. He said, I've never seen a group of positive black women ever in my life. And I'm thinking to myself, well, prior to you and I getting together, I had friends and we were positive. There was no negativity. It was no cat fights. It was no disrespecting each other. There was no sleeping with somebody else's boyfriend or husband or anything of that nature. It was all healthy relationships. Now, on occasion, of course, you have your bump in the road, which is expected with a group of friends because it's 1.5 million different personalities. But nobody had that kind of issue that he was trying to present to me. So in trying to keep a relationship and trying to keep happy with somebody, I lost me. The things I enjoyed doing, going to get my hair done, getting my nails done. If y'all don't know, I was a blonde for a good, probably about 6 years. I was blonde, blonde. I freaking loved my hair blonde. And he didn't like it. He didn't like blonde hair. He didn't like nails done. He didn't like me to do my makeup. And all of these things are things that I enjoy doing for me that keeps me happy. He didn't want to go fishing. He didn't want to go to the park. No, don't go walking because something might happen to you. No, I don't want to take you to the gun range. No, I don't want to go over here. No, I don't like going shopping in the mall. I don't want to eat this type of food. Everything, literally everything under the sun that you could possibly think of, he hated. And I couldn't figure out how to regroup. Sorry guys, the truck run. I couldn't figure out how to regroup so that I could put me back together. So I got into a really crappy depression. And at first I was embarrassed to talk about it. But I feel like if I talk about it and it helps somebody else, then that's in essence me doing what I need to do to help people out. So I got into a super depression, and it was difficult for me to do anything. That was go see my friends. That was go out to eat. That was get up. Like, I couldn't even get up in the morning. All I would do was sleep. I'd get in the bed and I would sleep. And if I wasn't asleep, then I would, I'd cry, or I wasn't eating. Like, it was a bunch of random stuff, like all signs of depression. So I checked myself into therapy, and not like inpatient therapy where you have to stay, but I literally found me a good therapist and started going to therapy. And I know we've talked about these things before on the episodes, but it was really important for me to do this for my mental health, because at this particular point in time, I'd lost myself. I felt like I needed him to stay with me. I needed him to be part of my life. I needed him and his approval for everything. I didn't know how to do anything by myself anymore. So I'm talking to my friends, and they were like, girl, when you were by yourself and you were hosting and modeling and doing your thing, like, you were bougie, but you were bad. Like, you were dope. You had the blonde hair. You walked in there, your confidence radiated. You just felt amazing about yourself, and we could all see it. And somehow I let someone take that from me. I always say that my sparkle went away, and it did. My sparkle completely and totally disappeared. I let somebody suck the essence and life out of me, to the point where I didn't even like me. I didn't like myself. I didn't like the way I looked. And it really just did a number on me. So here I am, 5 feet tall, massively depressed, can't figure it out, don't give a crap about anything anymore. I, in essence, had to have pretty much a divorce. If you've ever lived with anybody and you have a child here in Georgia, you have to go to custody hearing. The custody hearing is like, it is a pain in the ass. We'll just put it that way. $3,000 later, we had to go get lawyers and have the paperwork and stuff hashed out, and custody on what weekend, who goes where and whatever. And it like really devastated me, because that's not how I wanted my life to be. I left modeling and hosting because my intention was to have a family, because that's what my significant other wanted. He wanted us to be together. He wanted me to, I guess, I don't know, like, the crazy thing is, like, you met me doing things, and then the stuff that I liked to do, you didn't want me to do anymore. So everything that I loved doing, I stopped. Now, mind you, when he met me, in about 2001, 2002, I was modeling then. So this is something that, sitting back, thinking about it, modeling and hosting and being in the entertainment industry, it's been part of my life for quite a long time. I did like hip hop dancing, and I was hosting, and I was putting on fashion shows, and I was hanging out with the DJ. Like, this has always been part of my life, and I got rid of it to accommodate somebody, and it sucked. And so I hear people at times say, oh yeah, well, my husband or my girlfriend won't let me do. My husband or my girlfriend won't let me get this. My wife won't allow me to go here. I'm not allowed to do these things. And I'm sitting here like, how do we get to that point as a people? How do we allow somebody to dictate to us when before we got with that person, we did all the things? If you look at most relationships and you look at couples, you rarely to never see a couple that keeps the same like weight. Everybody always gets bigger. And you start to hear, oh, that's that happy weight. I'm beginning to think that it's not. I'm beginning to think that weight gain that you see in relationships is from like eating disorders. My husband is terrible, so I eat to make myself feel better. My wife gets on my nerves, so I eat so I can feel better. I'm beginning to really think that the weight is not happy weight, it's depression rate, because the divorce level is so freaking high that I'm beginning to think that it's like you say yes to the dress, and the next thing you know, you say yes to having somebody that owns you, for lack of better words. And I'm not saying all relationships are like that, because if you go on Instagram, there are several, like the Black Couple Revolution and Black Couples Black Love page. Serenity Today, he's another great guy that posts a lot of things, more so for black men's mental health, which I'm so an advocate for. Black women as well, but he puts on there a lot of like positive, happy things that you don't see in the black community that we have a tendency to miss. For whatever reason, people don't show those things, but it's absolutely possible for these couples to have these dope relationships and be happy. You see couples that get together and they work out together, which is part of self-love and self-care. You see a man, he's out supporting his wife. Like if you ever watch Russell Wilson and Sierra, the way that he looks at her, like he's always hyped up and geeked up about her dancing. And he watches the kids and he's got the baby so that she can go do what her thing is. Or you see the men or their women, like Chadwick Boseman, his wife, was at every single solitary thing for him. And yeah, they dated forever and people are like, oh my God, he didn't have a will. But yeah, you know, things happen. So we're not going to focus on that part. We're going to focus on the part of how she looked at him when he walked down the carpet, how she held his hand, how she was with him before he died. We're talking about those types of things. Those are the type where you see somebody is still themselves, even though they're in a relationship. And I hear a lot of the times people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to wait till I get married before I do. Before you do what? Live? You're going to stop living until you find a wife? You're going to stop living until you find a husband? Why can't you go to Cancun with your gal pals? Or why can't you go to Cancun with your guys? Why can't you have a guys weekend and head out to Vegas? Why do you have to wait until you find her? What if she isn't in the United States yet? What if he doesn't live close to you? What if you haven't swiped right yet, or you swiped left and accidentally missed him? How do you know that he is going to be there right this very second? So in the meantime, in between time, where you're waiting on him or her, why can't you just love yourself to the fullest? Get your hair done. Go get that haircut. Get your nails done. Go soak in that bathtub for the day. Go get you that bottle of wine that you always wanted. Crack open that bottle of wine that you've had sitting on your shelf for God knows how long because you're saving it for a quote-unquote special day. Make today special. This is part of your self-love. You have to love you. And the crazy thing is, people from a mile around you can sense and feel when you are not happy with yourself. If you're unhappy with that 5 extra pounds that you're carrying, people can tell, people can see it. If you're not happy because my car is just not exactly what I want, and that is like the ultimate thing that's making you miserable, people can tell that. Like, I was totally embarrassed on going out in public. I couldn't adjust, function, or deal. I had gained a lot of weight, was sitting at 160 at 5 feet tall. And when we went to our family Disney trip, I looked at the pictures and I was like, oh my God, I hate all of these. Mind you, I took 900 pictures at Disney, and I think I took one of myself. Now I'm still adjusting to the whole weight thing. I do have a personal trainer, and I've been participating in the fitness challenges. My gal pal and I have started our own fitness challenge for the next 30 days to try to maintain and get in shape, which is why I'm out here walking this mile at lunch, because that's my self-love. I couldn't do anything. I felt like my everything was gone when he left. And I had to remind myself, hey, guess what? You don't need him for you to be great. Yes, situation sucks. It's trash. Not how you imagine having kids, especially your second kid, because I waited so long in between babies because I really wanted to get married and I really wanted to have the whole family, white picket fence, backyard, dog, going on trips once a month, family vacations. Like, I wanted that desperately. That's what I wanted, and I could not get that. And a lot of the times I think I'm a fixer. I see something and I try to fix it, and that's not my responsibility. So again, it goes back to self-love. You can't fix other people when they don't love themselves. You cannot fix somebody else when they don't love themselves. You can't be in a relationship with anyone if you don't love yourself. If you don't get up in the morning and go stand in the mirror and you're like, I'm a badass, I am the dopest person that I have ever seen, and you're like, I'm about to go out here and take over the whole freaking world, you do not need to be in a relationship with anybody, regardless if you're 100 pounds or 320 pounds. You can't bring somebody into your midst of miserable life if you're not happy with you. It's so important. Like, I know I've been like rambling and talking for like the last 18 minutes or whatever, but it's the truth. And me reconnecting with my gal pals this weekend, being able to celebrate happy birthdays, anniversaries, all of the stuff that I've been able to celebrate with my people, it's been really nice to be able to have that. And it's been a change because I can tell you how many events I've attended with my group of friends rather than all the ones that I've missed. I have missed so many weddings, anniversaries, birthday parties, new babies, baby showers, bridal showers, bachelorette parties. I have missed them all because I forgot to love me in the midst of my relationship. I forgot to be me and who I am. And no, you don't always want to get up and drive. And sometimes it's a pain in the butt, but a lot of the times it's not. It's the ability to celebrate something absolutely epic. Like, it just is. It's the best thing ever. You want to be able to go out and celebrate. And family isn't always who is born into your family. Sometimes family is stuff that's adopted, attached, and added extra. You can get a sister like I have. I have a couple new sisters that weren't even married into my family. My sisters are people that I have been friends with for a decade, which I can't even say that all the time. I've never had friends, especially gal pals, as friends for this long. So it was just heavy on my heart today to talk about self-love and making sure that my listeners, where they're few and far in between, or you tune in every single episode, especially because I'm live today, which was an impromptu, but I just wanted to make sure I talked about that. Like, it breaks my heart. It stresses me out at times when I see people that don't love themselves. And I know sometimes people have a tendency to want to push on to others what they feel is self-love. But bottom line, majority of the time, if your friends are talking to you and they're telling you, hey, you're kind of in a rough patch, get it together, they're doing it because they love you, not because they're picking at you. When I hit rock bottom, I had my gal pals and their people come over and sit down and talk to me like, hey, this is not you. You're not normally like this. You are usually bubbly and upbeat. And I've had patches since then. Well, this will be a whole other episode. I miscarried earlier this year, and that was something that I did not deal well with. And so for a couple of months, I was like really back down and depressed again, because it was like one of the most worst experiences of my life. It was bad. But my self-love had to kick back in. I had to go back walking. I had to go back eating the right foods. I had to go back to smiling. I had to go back to dancing. I had to go back to doing the things that made me happy. Crocheting, going to bed, taking a nap, getting up, eating. Those things I had stopped. I was miserable. So that being said, today's episode is definitely about self-love. There are plenty of books. Do you hear me? Go pick up a book about self-love. Pick it up, read it, have no problem with reading it, enjoy it, apply it. It's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with you for reading a book about self-care and self-love, and there's also nothing wrong with you going to therapy. Sometimes we have childhood traumas that we have not dealt with, and it's hard. You've got to deal with your childhood issues, whether it be a missing parent, an abusive parent, which is usually what triggers most people towards the latter part of their lives for the reason why they're the way that they are. But just get some help. Sit down, reevaluate, reflect, journal, Google. There are book lists. I can share some of the books that I read. I know I did The Year of Yes by Shonda Rhimes. That is my go-to book when I'm feeling funky. But yeah, just pick up something. Try it out. Y'all, it's been real. It's your girl, Tori Grace, and I am out today. Peace.